Substitute. The 24th of April, 2025. Twisted. The tithe in the Bible is a reference to the zakat that is required for every believer, which he is supposed to give to the orphans, the widows, and the poor. Al-khalqu khalquk, wal-ibadu ibaduk. Israeli civic teacher Iliran Malki posted on X and said, "Sorry, just asking, why doesn't the state of Israel make the necessary decision to harvest organs from the October 7 detainees? There are so many patients waiting for a miracle. Why not take these subhumans and force them to do something useful for humanity?" The substitute. It is not a substitute. I dislike what was said. Dislike doesn't quite cut it. What happened? A problem. The 26th of April, 2025. Angels have free will. They worship God willingly. In Islam, angels are obedient creatures that worship Allah and Allah alone. Their will is the will Allah gives them, and the will Allah gave them is to worship Him and Him alone. That is not accurate. Angels have free will and they worship God willingly. In a hadith about the creation story where God sends His angels to get soil from earth, both Gabriel and Michael, peace be upon them, were sent to get soil first. But the earth sought refuge in God that they do not take anything from it. Then they returned to God and told Him what happened. They chose not to fulfill the deed because the earth sought the protection of God. Then God sends the angel of death, and the same thing happens, but the angel of death responded to the earth, "I seek refuge in Allah that I do not go back to Him without fulfilling His command." Every angel has free will. They can either obey or disobey God. This is why there is a high court. God assigns them tasks and they obey His command out of their free will, because they recognize Him as the only God. He is worthy of worship and obedience. Nowhere does it say that angels have no free will. In fact, if they had no free will, they would not be considered servants, and they would not be called by God blessed servants. If they had no free will, why would God bless them for obeying His command and following His orders? Blessings are earned by submitting one's free will to obey the will of the Creator. Angels chose to obey and worship God. On the day when the Lord gave the Amorites over to the Israelites, Joshua spoke to the Lord, and he said in the sight of Israel, "Sun, stand still at Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Aijalon." And the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, until the nation took vengeance on their enemies. Joshua chapter 10, 12 to 13.